All right. So what it comes down to, folks, is there's definitely a barrier when it comes to real estate, commercial real estate. Can anybody guess? And do me a favor, let's go ahead and put it in the chat. Take a guess what you think the failure rate is in commercial real estate. And for those of you that come week after week, you hear me talk about this, but take a guess what you think that most people are at. Ooh, somebody said commercial real estate and lending said $99,000. Close. I'm sorry, 99%. Close. Tyler says 90. Sophia says 85. Very, very close, right? There's a 97% failure rate in the first 2 years, right? Oh, by the way, I recognize that. So does that sound familiar, guys? 97% failure rate in the first 2 years. You have a 3% chance of making it in this business. And I promise you guys, most people in your office are not making that any easier on you, right? So because there's some natural barriers, and we're going to get into what it takes, right? So it doesn't matter whether you're on the residential side of things and you're looking to get to commercial, right? It doesn't matter, whether you are on the commercial buy side agent, maybe you're doing some leasing, right? And you're trying to get to the listing side. There's always a gap. There's always a barrier there. Okay. What we're going to show you is, number one, you already know a lot more than you might realize. But just like we talked about with that gap, there's a few key pieces that are missing. Is anyone familiar with the concept of a keystone, right? And it's like you can have in old, I think Gothic architecture, there's they can create an entire arch, right? And then, but the problem is, if one stone, if the keystone is missing, the whole arch falls down, right? So we're going to talk about what the keystone is, or actually there's 3 keystones in commercial that'll help you create that big, strong arch, right? So because at the end of the day, most people, you're putting in the work, you're doing the things that you think you should be doing, but you might not realize what's missing, okay? And we always talk about, we need the right message in front of the right person at the right time. Does anybody remember those old school combination locks, like when you're in high school to get into your locker? Does anyone remember those? Yeah? Anybody? Bueller, anybody? Anyone get my 80s references? There we go. Tyler's with me. Sophia's with me. Yeah. Guys, what it comes down to, 13 to the right, 26 to the left, 4 to the right, and the lock pops open, right? What happens if you're missing any one of those 3, right? Emily says, yes, they still have them. Love it. Good. I'm glad to see some things don't change, right? But what happens if you miss any one of those 3 numbers? Okay. The lock never opens. And that's what we're going to talk about, what the 3 missing pieces are that you need to plug in. And if you are missing any one of those, you're not going to be optimizing. And frankly, you're not going to be able to make the money that you want to make in the next 12 months. All right, guys. So by the way, you all see this where it says the bridge method. Someone give me a thumbs up. Everybody see the bridge method here? Okay, cool. Thanks, Reed. All right. So what it comes down to, guys, is what we call the bridge method. The bridge method is just, if you think of it metaphorically, getting from one side to the other. And it doesn't matter whether you're on the residential side, whether you haven't gotten to the commercial listing side yet, makes no difference to me. All I care about is that you get to the other side, right? Wherever you're starting from, that's fine. But we can't all control where we came from, but we can control where we're going to, right? So the number one thing, okay, or one of the main things that you need to understand is, oftentimes people, they can find leads. Like when they're getting started in the business, they can find leads. Whether the type of leads they want to work, that's another thing, right? But if you think about it, in order to close the commercial transaction, most people have 5 of the 8 skills necessary to close a deal, right? So most of them, they can find leads, okay? They can find someone to do business with. Might not be the size deals or anything, but they can find the business. An iPhone, yes, I can see what you're writing. Absolutely. Yep. So the next one is, most of you are pretty good at following up. Why? Because if you don't follow up, you usually don't get too much business. So if you're here listening and you've made so much as a penny in commercial or residential real estate, then guess what? You obviously know how to follow up. Okay. The next one is, you know how to fill out the paperwork, write up the contracts and that sort of thing, letters of intent, so on and so forth, right? Okay, cool. So we've got several skills. Most people don't realize how close they actually are, right? Now, coordinating inspections, dealing with, due diligence periods. This is all stuff that, whether you're on the residential side or maybe you're working with buyers on the commercial side, you guys know what to do, right? Closing transactions, making sure that everything goes smoothly up into closing time. So closing transactions, and most importantly, collecting. So you already got those 5 skills, right? Closing transactions, dealing with inspections, nurturing, following up, right? Writing up contracts. You guys all got that. So the question is, what's missing? What are the barriers? Most people do not have a game plan, right? They don't know what they will do to get to where they're going, right? They know where they want to go. They know why they want to get there, but they just don't know how to get there. Does that make sense? And have any of you ever feel, just type a 1 in the chat. Have you guys ever felt like you're working it real hard, you're doing everything you can, you're listening to everyone's advice, you're going to the networking events, you're trying your hardest, but it's just not clicking, right? And maybe, now I tell you what, type a 2 in the chat if this sounds familiar. Maybe you see other people having success in the office and they're not 10 times harder working than you. They're not 10 times smarter than you, but yet somehow they're having way bigger results. You with me? Yeah. Okay. There we go. Okay. Janet's with me. Hey, Janet, how are you? Hope you're feeling better. Sophia's with me. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, guys. That's what I'm talking about. Okay. So at the end of the day, what I want you guys to understand is you have to have a commercial game plan. Without the game plan, I promise you, you are not going to stumble onto this, right? Your chances of doing it are 3%, okay? That's not exactly high probability. You with me, guys? Okay. So you have to have a solid foundation. You have to know about different property types. You have to understand how the process works of commercial sales. You have to understand, where you have to understand the product that you're selling. Now, the cool thing about residential is most of us grew up in a house or an apartment or a condo. So intellectually, we already kind of understand what we got. We kind of know, okay, living room, bedroom, bathroom, whatever, garage, blah, blah, blah. But most people did not grow up selling or were not exposed to commercial property. So they don't understand the foundations about the product that they're actually selling. Okay. So number 1, you have to have a solid foundation. By the way, if you guys are interested in and want to like get this whole method unwrapped for you, type hashtag method, right? Very, very important. There's a lot of stuff going on that we're going over. And if you want to kind of get like a summary of tonight's slides and have us send you tonight's slides, that way like you're not missing anything, just type hashtag method and we'll be sure to get you over a copy, right? All right, Marie's in, iPhone's in, Tyler's in. Okay, cool. Good. I just want to make sure that you guys weren't falling asleep behind the wheel, right? Now, a big part of that game plan, right? That commercial kind of warpath, right? Is number 1, that you understand the product you're selling. So you have to have a solid foundation. What happens to a building if it doesn't have a solid foundation, right? What happens to it? Leaning Tower of Pisa, right, guys? It's literally tipping over very, very slowly. Okay. So you got to understand you have to have a solid foundation. Next thing you know is once you know about the product that you're selling, then you have to know how to price it, right? Because let me ask, guys, just a show of hands. What would you guys be willing to pay if I had a $20 bill, okay, and I gave it to you? How many singles would you give me for it? Go ahead and type it in the chat. If I had a $20 bill and I wanted you to give me some singles, right? How many singles would you give me for it? Interesting. Marie says 20. Hardin says 20. iPhone says 20. Wait a minute. You guys are saying that if I gave you a $20 bill, you'd give me 20 singles back, right? Yeah. Okay. All right. Just so I understand. No, but maybe I don't understand. But what if I ask for like, I give you a 20 and you give me like 25 singles back? Would that be cool? How would that work? Would that be all right? Janet says 10. Love it. Brian says 19. I know we're going to get some smart Alex here. All right. But here's the thing, guys. Would any of you ever pay $25 for a $20 bill? This is a yes or no. Just type yes or no in the chat for me. Would any of you ever pay $25 for a $20 bill? I get a no from Sophia, a no from Tyler, right? Stupidity. Exactly. Right, guys. So have you ever seen people put properties on the market asking $25 for a $20 bill? You with me? Holla if you hear me, right? Come on. It's never going to happen. So the point is, similarly, we see a lot of unseasoned agents putting properties on the market for a price that it's never going to sell, right? And what's a 100% commission of $0? Big fat goose egg. You will never make $1 in this business unless you understand valuation. Does that make sense, folks? Okay, cool. All right, that's very important. Now, next up, and this is the third piece of the bridge method, right, is learning how to source buyers and sellers. How many of you, type a 1 in the chat, if you sometimes struggle to get the types of people you are looking for, right? The type of client, the quality of client, right? Okay. Hey, Facebook guys, you guys are falling asleep on me. Come on. The people on Zoom are lighting up the chat. Let's get those fingers going, guys. All right, we're gonna have a competition. We're gonna have a little tug of war tonight. All right. So go ahead and type in the chat for me. Let me know. No, every day. Okay, there we go. Got a ton of 1s here. Exactly. Now, here's the thing. Most people, they can get people to do business with, but at the end of the day, they don't have an abundance of the right people. Imagine if you could step in, wake up every morning, pick up the phone, and then at the end of the day, right, you are able to create opportunities, or by the end of the day, you're able to create opportunities for yourself, right? And then those opportunities will be in the tens of thousands of dollars on a daily basis, right? I'm going to show you guys, this came in for, sorry, my eyesight's getting bad. I'm 46. All right. Can anybody see, can you guys read this? I don't know if you can read this or not. It might be too small, but I'll put it up on the next one. I just got this from one of my students, right? It says, because of the system and that since I've started with Christian, and we just had his 90-day call the other day, right? His name is Dennis Habrilla. He's a broker out in the Bay Area, out in California. I now have $31.8 million in listings. Can anybody read that? Please tell me my camera's working. There we go, right? Guys, why? Because he tapped into a limitless source of sellers, right? That's why Dennis picked up almost 32 million. Type of 32 in the chat if you'd like to be like Dennis and you'd like to have $32 million of inventory in 90 days from now. There we go. Sophia's with me. Sophia says 35. I'm right. Yes. Okay. Type 32 in the chat or comment below, right, guys? Now, here's the thing. Dennis is not like everybody else. Dennis gets up every single day. He makes 50 dials, no less, no exceptions. No, I don't feel like it. No, I'm a little tired. No, I'm going to flip through my files. No exceptions. Consistent work, and he sees the results, right? So you have to know where to learn to source buyers. But once you get a hold of where to find them and know how to convert them, guys, it's limitless. It's like someone giving you a fishing rod, giving you the worm, pointing you to what watering hole to go to. And as many times as you want to throw your rod in, you get to keep catching fish. How many would you like that? Just type hashtag fish if you guys would like to learn how to fish for sellers, right? Because it doesn't matter if you're coming from the residential side. It doesn't matter if you're coming from, the commercial leasing side. It doesn't matter. If you have these 3 things working, right? You have the right commercial foundations. You understand valuation because you can ask the wrong question, or you could ask the wrong price for property and it'll never sell, right? It's like asking $25 for a $20 bill, right? And then finally, being able to source an unlimited supply of sellers, right? That is what led Dennis in 90 days to pick up an additional $32 million in inventory, right? I'm so excited for him. I'm over the moon because he gets up every day and gets after it, right? Now, here's the thing, folks, okay? Do not abandon what's already working for you. What I'm suggesting is yes, and, right? I'm not saying because admittedly, there's some ramp up period, right? The day I met Dennis, he was already like a highly motivated guy. We just kind of pointed him more in a direction and gave him a game plan, and he executes every single day on that. So don't abandon what's already working for you. But I recommend, how many of you have ever driven stick, like manual, right? Like I got my license in like 91. So like it's been a long time. Like a lot of cars were stick then. Anyone type hashtag stick if any of you have ever driven manual. There we go. Gio's with me. All right, cool. I'm not the only old one here. Right. Love it. and no offense to you people that are driving stick and they're younger than me. But the point is, right? Think about it. With stick, you have your foot in on the clutch and your foot is not touching the gas yet. and you got to slowly let out the clutch and slowly push down on the gas. Can anybody tell me, force breed rock crusher, love it, Mike. Can anybody tell me what happens if you let the clutch out too fast? Like you let it out immediately. Boom, what happens? Car is going to stall, okay? We do not want your business to stall like a car would stall, right? So if you pull out on the clutch too fast, the car stalls because it doesn't have enough, you're not pushing on the accelerator enough. The point is, don't abandon, don't stop whatever your business plan that's currently putting money in your pocket, right? What we want you to do is we want you to slowly start increasing, okay? Because slow and steady wins the race, right? But what if you let's just talk the next I don't know, next 6 to 9 months, right? What if you just added a couple commercial listing transactions a year, like just a couple on top of what you're already doing? What would like 2 or 3 sales over the next 12 months? What would that do to your business? Okay. Now, mind you, the average commercial transaction, according to CoStar, nationwide is about is 1.6 million, right? So that's like a 3% of that's like 48K, right? So what if you just did 3 transactions over the next year? What would that do to your income? Would that get you guys a whole lot closer, right? Marie says it would be a good bump. Absolutely. Exactly. What would that do, guys? For those of you folks on the Facebook side, right? What would that mean? To type in the chat what that would do to yours, okay? So it would be a good bump. Sophia says it would rise. iPhone says it would be a blessing. You better believe it, right? Just 3. We're not talking about 33. We're just talking 3, okay? And depending on your market, for those of you out in Cali, it's 2.8 million average. For those of you in New York, it's 2.5 million average. For those of you in Hawaii, God bless you, 3.8 million average, okay? But across the nation, we're talking 1.6 million, okay? Very, very, very interesting, right? So what Arizona, I'm not sure, but I can let you know. We have a list. Hang on, actually, you know what? Thank you, iPhone. Let's check out Arizona, guys. Throw out your state, and I'm going to show you. I'll let you know what the average is. This is interesting because this is one of my favorite things to talk about. You know why? Because it puts what we're doing. Carmen in California, you're in that Jersey, love it. Florida is 1.9 million because I'm in it, right? But let's see. I keep a list. Now, mind you, this list is probably 2 years old at this point, right? But okay, we got Indiana. Indiana is 1.2 million. North Carolina, moving there soon. All right, Tyler. North Carolina is 1.2. Texas, let's do this. Texas is 1.6 million. So do me a favor, guys. Type whatever I'm telling you times 0.03 and then multiply that by 3, right? And then that way you'll know what 3 deals in the next 12 months would do for you. Florida, we were talking about Indiana, California. Yeah, you guys, I'm jealous of you guys. It's 2.8 million. Georgia, 1.2 million for Georgia, right? Cali, we got Jersey, 1.5 million in Jersey, right? Washington, D.C. A lot of the D.C. I don't have D.C., but like a lot of people do DMV, right? So they'll do Maryland and Virginia. Maryland's 1.4 and Virginia's 1.5. Okay, guys. So this, I just want to give you like kind of like the ballpark of what these numbers are, right? So type whatever that is times 0.03, right? And then multiply that times 3, guys. So I can do some simple math. 1.5 million at 3%, that's 45,000 times 3 of those, right? 45 is 90 plus another 45 is $135,000. How many of you would like a $135,000 bump just by learning a skill over the next 12 months? Would that be worthwhile to learn, guys? Yep. Sophia's in. Pietro said, like, let's do it. Hey, Pietro, I'm going to talk to you in a while, buddy. Yeah. So that's the point, guys. And that's what we teach you how to do. We teach people to fish, metaphorically. I'm not a very good fisherman. But the point is we teach you how to fish. Go ahead and hit the like button over in Facebook if you'd like to learn how to fish, right? If you'd like to know what watering hole to go, what rod to use, what bait to use. And then every day you go in there and you fish for more. You know who knows how to do that? My man Dennis out in California does, right? So here's the thing, folks. What if by offsetting that income, you could choose the clients that you work with? How many of you guys have ever had I know, I'm sure. Oh yeah, sorry, Pepper. Give me a second. Arizona, oh, 2 million for Arizona. Yeah, awesome. So what if, guys, by adding those additional 3 transactions, you could have a little bit more control of your business, right? And what if you could be a little bit picky with the people you work with? How many of you have ever had a nightmare client? I mean, a nightmare, right? I'll never forget when I first kind of started working it really hard on the listing side, right? I had a guy that I had 3 listings with him, right? This guy trusted me, and I was like a newer agent, but you know what? Still at the end of the day, he's like, you know what? This guy's good. Well, he tried to micromanage me, and homie, don't play that, right? At Thursday night at 11 o'clock, he reached out to me, not this Thursday, but this is years ago. On a Thursday night, I should say, at 11 o'clock, he reached out to me saying, blah, 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 this about the marketing, that about the marketing. I said, time out. It's 11 o'clock on a Thursday night. We can talk about this tomorrow morning. Thank you. Have a good night. And the next morning I fired him. Yes. Did I lose 3 listings on the spot? Absolutely. Did I care? Did I earn back my self-respect and made a promise to myself that I'm never going to let a client make me a do boy, make me an order taker? Hell to the no. Who's with me, guys? How many of you are like, I'm tired of clients treating me like I'm like some sort of like order taker, right? You know? No. How many of you with me? Type a capital N, capital No. If you do not want to be mistreated by people, we are all humans. We are all equal. Okay. Absolutely not. So the cool thing about taking listings, right, is you do not have to beg like Oliver Twist. Oh, may I please have some old porridge? You are on an even playing field with these people because they signed on an agreement that says, I will work with you and we are contractually bound for the next 6, 9, 12 months, whatever it is. That is the name of the game, guys. So you get to, if you have control of your business, you then start being able to choose, you know, like think about people that are starving in the woods. They'll eat anything. They'll eat twigs and berries and you know, versus how about like having a pocket full of money and walking down Main Street and you choose the restaurant you go into, guys. That's the difference. Can you imagine the difference when you're looking for a meal instead of foraging because you're starving to death, going and choosing, do I want steak or sushi tonight? Do I want pizza or do I want a big fat burger? You with me? Okay. Very, very powerful, guys. Because at the end of the day, one thing I've realized over and over and over again, there's like an 80-20 rule with clients. And tell me if you guys, give me like a 1 in the chat. What I realized over time is about 20% of my clients gave me 80% of the headaches. I swear to God, I'm part real estate therapist, part counselor, part like, I don't know, like these people are lonely. I had a guy that would call me when he was just on the highway, just bored. I'm like, are you serious, man? Like, you think I don't have anything better to do? So the point is, guys, and how many of you with me like that, with that 80-20, like 20%? Yeah, more like 10%. There you go, Nick, you're in a fortunate position. So like 10% of the clients give 80%. Imagine if you could just, thank you, but no thank you. Let me refer you to an agent I know that would take really, really good care of you, Mr. Pain in the Neck, right? Very, very important, guys. And what if you could fire those clients and make your business a whole lot less stressful? How much more fun would it be to get up and get going to the office every day if you didn't have to have any of you ever gotten an email or a text and it turned your stomach because you're like, ugh, not this client again? Anyone with me? Right? Yeah, guys, that's what, when you start taking control of your business, it gets a whole lot more fun. Like, what would that mean for you to be able to get up and control who you do business with, not have to be anyone's order taker, you know? And here's the thing, it's not all roses because there some people, we're still dealing with people. But if you can control the type of people, you know, it's getting like to choose your friends. Remember, guys, remember the 3 key takeaways. You need solid foundations. You need to know what you're selling. You need to know valuation, because valuation is going to allow you to actually sell the property. And you need to know where to source buyers and sellers. Those are the 3 keys that you need in order to be able to bridge the gap from the residential side to the commercial side, or from the commercial side to the commercial listing side, because everybody knows that in order to make money, you got to list to last. It is no secret. How many of you ever heard that saying? You got to list to last. It's true. And it's no less true today as it will be 6 months from now, as it will be in a year from now. In fact, I'll go out on a limb and say listing agents are going to survive. Buyers agents are getting jumped over now. Like back in the day, right? Now, here's a little insight for you guys. Back in the day, it used to be a very closed system and a broker had to know another broker. But now, in order to find out about opportunities and so forth. But now with CoStar, now with LoopNet, especially LoopNet, buyers can go on there and they can look for what they're looking for and they go directly to the, you got it, listing agent. And buyers agents are going the way of the dodo bird. Why? Because buyers are smart, folks. If they're out there looking for a $2, $3, $4 million building, they've learned a few things about business, not the least of which is if there's one person in the middle of the transaction, they got a higher likelihood of getting a discount than if there's two people in the middle of the transaction. You with me, guys? So you have to get to the listing side in order to get that. Okay, guys? So thank you so much for being here. Really, really appreciate it. Make sure you put this in your calendar every single week. We're going to give you insights. We're going to give you tips. We're going to give you strategies and tactics so that you can take and implement into your business immediately. And thank you again for being here, guys. One thing I always appreciate is you took 30 minutes out of your week to not only work in your business, but on your business. Open your mind to new ideas, new concepts, so that you can get yourself where you're going. Okay. We look forward to seeing you next week. Thank you so much for all my students that are on here. Love you guys. You guys are getting extra credit. You know who you are. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. So look forward to seeing you in class tomorrow, and we'll talk more.